Part 2. The Guide of How to Be an Interstellar Tycoon. Author, Juwei Yaohu. Chapter 11. Gubai is about to lose his temper by the other party. This person really intends to rely on him, right? This is because I think what he makes is delicious, so I want to eat it all the time. You can eat what I make if you want. Do you have any star coins? Gubai crossed his arms and looked straight at the man. This man has good features, and his appearance is not the type that is amazing at a glance. He is the kind of person who may not be recognized at a glance in a crowd, but after seeing it for a long time, it is quite pleasing to the eye. Stop. Gubai, you have been staying in the last world for a long time, and you feel good looking when you see a boar, right? Gubai couldn't help but secretly condemned himself in his heart. Although his sexual orientation is of the same sex, it is not enough for him to be a man. His standard of mate selection is high, at least the man in front of him does not fit his ideal type at all. Chapter 12. Mumu. I have, the man replied seriously. The things I make are very expensive and require a lot of star coins. Gubai continued with interest. Although the man in front of him was not his ideal type, the two interactions made him feel that this man might have some problems with his brain and spoke very little, but it was quite interesting. The man didn't speak again, but opened his back panel and displayed the amount of star coins on it in front of Gubai's eyes. The long string of zeros behind the star coin stabbed Gubai's eyes instantly. He didn't count how many zeros there were, but he felt that it might be an amount he could never earn in his life. Looking at the man again, Gubai's eyes became much more complicated, with envy, hatred for the rich, and helplessness. This person obviously has some problems with his mind, but he still has so much money on his body, and he is not defensive at all. He casually shows his balance and tells others, I'm stupid and have more money, come and lie to me. This is to meet him. In case of encountering a liar or someone with ulterior motives, a man who can be coaxed with a few words will be ruined. Whose child is this? And he didn't like it, so he released it like this, and gave him so much money. His heart is really big enough. But that's not the point is, come back with me and eat whatever you want. Gubai showed a big smile on his face. He is a fool if he has money and doesn't make money. He is clearly not. What's your name? Gubai asked on the way back. Maybe they will meet often in the future, and they can't even know the name of the gold master. Hearing this, the man frowned, as if he was thinking about something. The expression on his face looked a little painful, and he didn't say a word for a long time. Seeing this, Gubai was about to speak when he heard the other person say, I don't know. Do not know? There are still people who don't know their names these days? Is it because I don't want to tell him, or? But looking at the other party's appearance, he didn't seem to be lying. He might really not know his name. There really is something wrong with this person's brain, Gubai thought to himself. It doesn't matter if you don't know, but I can't always call you hello in the future, or I'll call you Mumu, Gubai said with a smile. Mumu is the name of his best partner in the last days, a mutant rattan, who has accompanied him through many dangers and is his closest existence. He is now reborn in the interstellar era, and he doesn't know what happened to Mumu. Maybe he won't be able to see Mumu again in the future. Now he uses this name for this man, and it can be regarded as a memory of his partner. Mumu, the man repeated in a low voice. Although this man looks average, his voice is slightly hoarse and magnetic. In layman's terms, it is the kind that can make one's ears get pregnant. Gubai's heart beat faster when he was hit at close range. Just call Mumu for now. If you remember your name in the future, tell me. Gubai touched his chest, trying to calm the throbbing just now. A good voice really makes people feel the urge to commit crimes. Fortunately, this person looks average, otherwise he really doesn't know what he will do. It's almost 8 o'clock, I have to go back to cook. You can buy food in the store later. If you can't grab it, go back and wait for the customers to leave. I'll cook a small stove for you alone, Gubai urged. Because of this man, he couldn't get any information about him for half an hour, but for the sake of his potential to become his most stable and biggest customer in the future, he didn't care. Chapter 13. The first time in my life I was hugged by a princess. Back in the kitchen, Gubai started another busy day. The ingredients he bought yesterday kept him busy all morning. Today's ingredients are more than twice as many as yesterday's. I'm afraid he will be busy all day. Just like yesterday, when he cooks a pot of food, it will be uploaded to the sales area, and customers outside will frantically grab it, often in seconds. Gubai was used to this kind of situation, until he was tired from working in the kitchen, and then he was ready to go out to rest for a while. Boss, you don't want to make one and sell one? Can you wait until it's all finished and sell it together? It's okay, we can afford it. That's right, boss, set a time for the sale. As soon as Gubai came out, he was surrounded by customers again, and he made suggestions. Gubai was at a loss. It was obviously the same way of selling yesterday. Everyone was very happy. They even asked him to sell it as soon as he finished it. Whether it was a meal or not, they wanted to eat it right away. Why did it suddenly change today? The Guide of How to Be an Interstellar Tycoon. Author, Yaoi. Chapter 12. What else could it be because of him? It's not because of him, Gubai unknowingly said what he was thinking, and immediately a customer pointed at a certain person. I don't know that this guy has been a solo mother for several years. The hand speed is so fast that it's not human. Your dish has just been uploaded, we have just seen it, and it was snatched away in the blink of an eye. If it's only 1 or 2 times, it's fine. There are too many dishes and porridges, but as a result, he can grab it every time, and there is not much left when it is our turn. Isn't it? If you upload them all together, no matter how fast he is, he can only grab 1 or 2 dishes, and we can eat more. Other customers also complained one after another. They know that they can't blame the fast hand for this, but it's annoying to see that they can't eat every time. Gubai looked in the direction they pointed, and saw the man staring straight at him as always. I'll discuss it with him. Gubai walked up to the man and pulled him into the corner. Gubai, Mumu, have you finished grabbing so much to eat? The dishes he made today are the same as yesterday, but the quantity of each type has increased a lot. A normal person would only buy one to taste it. After all, he couldn't swallow it. Buying one and buying more than one tastes the same. Delicious, the man replied seriously. Gubai was very happy to be affirmed by the diners, but the problem still had to be solved. In this way, when you're serving food in the future, you're going to snap it up with them. I'll open a small stove for you later. How about making different delicacies to eat? Gubai discussed. He also needs these dishes to attract more customers, so that the business can last for a long time, but Mumu cannot be monopolized by himself. Not enough. Not enough, Gubai was surprised. This person is too good to eat. He knows that the other party has money, but he can't spend it like this. Okay, as much as you want, I will cook it for you. It's up to you to eat enough. Okay. The man nodded, agreeing. After that, I didn't buy from those customers again. After the whole day, Gubai was exhausted. He originally set it up quite well. He spent 2,000 star coins to buy ingredients a day, and then earned 10,000 star coins, making a net profit of 8,000. In this way, he could buy tables, chairs, and employ people very quickly. Weeding robot. After a whole day, even in the second world, the spirit was cooking, but he was still exhausted. In the end, he couldn't even pick up the spatula. If he did this every day, he might die suddenly. No, 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 we have to readjust the time and wait from tomorrow. Money has to be earned, and life has to be wanted. After sending all the customers away, Gubai wished he couldn't lie down directly on the ground, but thinking that there was a more difficult customer here, he could only get up and asked, "What do you want to eat today? I'll cook it for you." Seeing Gubai's exhausted face, Mumu frowned slightly. "Don't eat, you need to rest." Gubai was slightly surprised and couldn't believe what he heard. "You need to rest now," Mumu said involuntarily. He forced the person to sit on the ground, and then clicked on his control panel, not knowing what he was doing. Soon, the delivery robot came and moved in a luxurious sofa. "This sofa looks expensive and must be very comfortable to sit on, but..." Mumu walked in front of Gubai without saying anything, just put his hands through his legs and neck, and hugged Princess Ren easily. Gubai didn't react until he was placed on the sofa. The sofa was as soft as expected. No, he was hugged by the princess just now. On the sofa Gubai was on, it was the first time in his life that he was hugged by a princess. Although he was in a virtual world, he was hugged by a spiritual body, but the feeling of being too real still made him a little uncomfortable. Chapter 14. Are you going to disappear again? I'm fine, just rest for a while, Gubai said to Mumu. He just cooks in the kitchen all day, and he just couldn't get used to it for a while. After adjusting the time, he won't be so tired. Why did you buy the sofa? You can't keep it here forever, can you return it? Gubai touched the sofa under him, and the soft and comfortable touch could indicate its price. If the sofa is placed at home, it must be fine, but in a store, especially a gourmet restaurant, it will look out of place and easily dirty. If you don't retreat, I'll give you a rest, Mumu insisted. To be honest, Gubai felt a little warm in his heart. It seemed like a long time ago that he was taken care of like this. The 10 years in the last days have taught him to take care of himself and stay away from others. It's not suitable to put it here. If you can return it, you can return it. I'll cook something delicious for you later. Of course, you still have to pay, Gubai said with a smile. After resting for a while, Gubai felt that he was almost recovered, and told Mumu to return the sofa, and then went into the kitchen to start dinner. Today's dinner is richer than usual, even a lot richer than the dishes during the day. If other customers are here, they must accuse Gubai of being biased. Seeing that the hall was empty, Gubai checked the star coins he earned today, and then looked at the prices of tables and chairs in the mall, and ordered 5 sets of the cheapest tables and chairs. In this way, they will not be able to squat on the ground after eating, and there will be a place to sit and rest when customers come, and the rest will be added later. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Guide of How to Be an Interstellar Tycoon. Author, Yaoi. Chapter 13. After eating, Gubai packed up the dishes and warned Mumu again, I'm going offline. If you still want to eat tomorrow, come over again, I'll cook it for you alone, and I can't snatch it from other customers. What? Are you going to disappear again? Mumu hurriedly asked, with a trace of panic in his expression, as if Gubai would disappear in the next second. Disappear? Gubai thought for a while before he understood what he meant, and asked tentatively, aren't you offline? This man can't even remember his own name, so he can't even go offline, right? Where does he usually live? Shouldn't you even know that this world is a virtual world? Does his family have such a big heart? Gubai felt a little weird about the carelessness of the Mumu family before, but now he is inexplicably angry. How little attention is paid to the fact that people at home don't even know that they have been living in the virtual world. Although many people choose to work in the virtual world to make money, they still go offline every night and go home. There are very few people in the virtual world. Have you always lived in this world? Gubai asked again. Mumu thought for a while and shook her head, I don't know. Again, I don't know, this person is. Gubai, then where do you usually live? Mumu pointed to the tallest building outside and said, there. That building is the landmark of the second world, Huaxia Building, which belongs to the royal family of the Huaxia Empire. In addition to accommodation, it also contains multifunctional places such as entertainment and games. It is a place that many rich people like to go to. Sure enough, the person in front of him was very rich. Although he lived well in the virtual world, he often didn't log off and didn't know if it would cause damage to the spiritual body. "I'll teach you how to log off." Gubai opened his control panel, and there was a button in the lower right corner. Click to log off directly. Mumu also opened his own control panel, but the button in the lower right corner was gray, indicating that it could not be pressed. Gubai frowned. No wonder Mumu has never been offline. His panel can't be offline. What's the situation? Is there a bug in the second world? Or did someone do it on purpose? Gubai urgently contacted the brain assistant in the second world, and explained Mumu's situation to the assistant. "Sorry, the user information is set with the highest authority, and I have no right to view it." Hineo assistant replied apologetically. "Highest authority? Confidential. What is this man's identity?" However, Gubai didn't wonder for too long. Since Hineo said it was confidential information, it means that the man's identity should not be low. Since he can stay in the virtual world all the time, there should be no harm to him. That's enough. If his curiosity is too strong, he will not live that long in the last days. "Okay, you go back to rest first. I have to go offline and rest," Gubai said to Mumu, then sent the person out of the store and clicked offline. Mumu stood at the entrance of the Blue Star Gourmet store, staring at the location of the store's entrance for a long time before turning around and leaving. Chapter 15. God bless you. It cost 3,000 star coins to buy tables and chairs, and Mumu gave me another 2,000 star coins for the meal. Today, I made a total of 9,000. After removing the 1,000 star coins to buy food tomorrow, there are still 8,000 left. You can hire 8,000 stars. We have a weeding robot. After Gubai got off the assembly line, he lay on the bed and began to calculate how to arrange the star coins he earned. But in the end, he decided to hire 5 weeding robots, so that the robots could remove all the grass on the farm for 2 days, and he had to keep some liquidity in his hand for emergencies. It's just that the past 2 days will be a little tight. As long as the dishes in the gourmet shop can be guaranteed to be sold every day, he will not worry about running out of money in the future. After thinking about this, Gubai ran downstairs to find Butler Gu, then transferred the 5,000 star coins to him and said, "Grandpa Gu, please help hire 5 weeding robots tomorrow." Butler Gu looked at the extra 5,000 star coins in the account, and was a little surprised. He knew that when the young master first came, he didn't have a single star coin. At that time, he was so angry that he almost took the spaceship to the central star to find that scum. The man is desperate. It's only been a few days. Where did the young master get the 5,000 star coins? Seeing Steward Gu's doubts, Gubai said, "I have opened a gourmet shop in the second world these 2 days, which I earned in the past few days." "Gourmet shop? Young master, you can cook." Butler Gu was both excited and relieved. The Gu family was a family of chefs from the very beginning, but later the big environment affected the chef industry and suffered a major blow, and the Gu family gradually declined, but the cooking skills have never been lost. The one with the highest artistic talent, if it wasn't for being unkind and dying at an early age, the Gu family would definitely be able to regain their former glory in the culinary world. As the young lady's son, the young master can earn 5,000 star coins in just 2 days, and he must have a talent for cooking. God bless, really God bless. Gu family is not invincible, and cooking skills are not invincible. Butler Gu looked at the balance in the account and burst into tears. Gubai knew that Butler Gu must have thought about the past again. Although he is not a real Gu family, he occupies the body of the children of the Gu family. Maybe the home. The Guide of How to Be an Interstellar Tycoon. Author, Yaoi. Chapter 14. Grandpa Gu, I'm going to bed first, and I have to get up early tomorrow to open the shop. Gu Bai yawned and said. He was really tired today, not physically, but spiritually more tormenting than physical. Little young master, go and rest, don't work so hard and be so tired in the future, Grandpa Gu will block you in front of something. Butler Gu felt very distressed. At the same time, a post quietly appeared on a certain food forum of Scene 1. Subject, shocked. There is such a store in the Second World Food Street. Content, the landlord is an ordinary foodie who can't afford natural food. He will explore various gourmet restaurants in the Second World every day. It is no exaggeration to say that the landlord has tried almost every gourmet restaurant, but he always feels that the taste is lacking something, until I found this treasure shop, Blue Star Food Shop. This restaurant has just opened for 2 days, and the dishes only made are sweet and sour rib, boiled pork slices, braised pork, cauliflower, vinegar leavened cabbage, hot and sour potato shreds, and the main dishes are only white porridge and white rice, but each they are all delicious. I have been in the store since it opened in the morning. Every time I serve food, I will try my best to grab it, but most of them can't grab it. Hand speed. Cough cough, back to the topic, although there are not many dishes in this restaurant, but all of them are not eaten before. They are full of fragrance and strong enough to make people want to eat again. For the first time, I felt that I was too lazy to go to school. I'm not serious, now I can't find any words to describe these dishes and my mood at the moment except hum and delicious. In short, old irons, believe me, you will never regret eating it. 1L, advertising stickers, identification completed. 2L, the landlord really needs to go back to school to study again. It's not easy to write such a topsy-turvy post on an advertisement. 3L, haha, it seems that the owner of this gourmet restaurant is too poor to hire a powerful marketing account. 4L, originally, I was a little interested, but when I saw that the comments were all about advertisements, I lost my mind. 5L. This was the first post that advertised for Blue Star Gourmet, but unfortunately it was quickly submerged in more posts without making any splash. Chapter 16, Making Money. With the whole day's work and picking up customers on the second day of the opening, although he made a lot of money, he was really tired. Since then, Gu Bai has only opened a shop in the morning to sell vegetables, and set aside time in the afternoon to be himself thing. Although he is not tired anymore, his income has been cut in half all of a sudden, and Gu Bai is also very distressed. In particular, he checked the price of seeds in the real world. Although it is much cheaper than the price of finished vegetables, fruits, and grains, it is not what he can afford now. In addition, his planet is on the edge of the Huaxia Empire, far from the central star and other planets. They are far away, and if the seeds are shipped over, the courier fee is another huge expense. Alas, a penny beats a hero. If only there was a faster way to make money. Gu Bai couldn't help sighing. In fact, he can raise the price of each dish up, even if it is doubled. It is cheaper than other gourmet restaurants, but he can't pass the test in his heart. He knows that food in this world is very scarce and rare is the most expensive, so the price remains high. But in his opinion, food is for people to eat, so that everyone can fully taste the charm of food. If you keep it on the shelf, it will go against the original intention. His current price is very profitable, and he doesn't want to raise it to make money, not to mention that everyone is just tasting it, not really eating it. So, you have to find other ways to make money. As long as he can buy seeds and the farm opens, he won't have to worry about money in the future. Boss, why do you only open in the morning now? It's not enough. I've been queuing for several days. When will it be my turn? A customer looked at Gu Bai with grief. Boss, these golden stars and coins have been delivered to you, there is no reason not to earn them. That's right, boss, I beg to open a shop in the afternoon too. More and more customers come to the gourmet restaurant to eat, mainly because all the customers who have eaten here before have basically become repeat customers, plus the new arrivals. The tables and chairs of the small store are vying for each customer every day. Some customers even bring their own small benches. I'm still busy with the farm in the afternoon, so I don't have that much time to open a shop, Gubai explained. Farm? Does the boss's family run a farm? Does that mean that the boss will open a gourmet restaurant offline in the future? As soon as the customer's words came out, the eyes of all the customers in the store immediately lit up. The dishes made in the second world are just as delicious. If they were in reality, what would they be like? Shouldn't this dish only be found in the sky, and how many times should it be eaten in the world? Boss, which planet is your farm on? I'll start saving money now, and I must eat it once in reality. Boss, may I ask if you are still short of chores, the kind that you can eat well when you go to college? You don't need a salary, you just need to take care of your meals every day. The customers were asking and joking. The farm is still in its infancy. It is estimated that it will be a long time before the store opens. I will definitely let everyone know as soon as it opens, Gubai said with a smile, and was very happy with everyone's enthusiasm. The Guide of How to Be an Interstellar Tycoon. Author, Yaoi. Chapter 15. If this group of customers can become potential customers of his farm, then part of the problem of customer source can be solved. Boss, have you signed up for the food competition? I will definitely vote for you and pick you. Yes, I will also vote for the boss. Food contest, Gubai had never heard of it. Chapter 17 Food Competition. When the customer saw this, he was a little surprised. Second World's 77th Gourmet Competition, don't you know that, boss? In order to find more talented chefs, Second World will hold a food competition every year, and the winner's chefs will not only be rewarded with 300,000 star coins, but also have a 15-day full-scale promotion of the store and a lost recipe. 300,000 star coins, Gubai was overjoyed. This was simply because he wanted to fall asleep, so God sent a pillow in person. Is this the welfare of the transmigrators? Boss, your focus is wrong. Isn't the most important thing not to promote the store and the lost recipes? This is what every contestant wants. Although the customers have only known Gubai for a few days, they always feel helpless because of the other person's different attention from ordinary people. It's all good, but 300,000 star coins are the best, Gubai added in his heart. What he lacks the most right now is money. As for the lost recipes, can the 8 major cuisines of the great China family behind him be inferior to a lost recipe? 15 days of full-scale promotion of the store? As long as he can cook well, is he worried that there will be no customers coming? These are all small cases, mainly small money. Where to sign up? Has the competition started? Gubai asked eagerly. You can sign up on the official website. If you go to participate, boss, you won't be the first, and the top 5 will definitely be no problem. Come on, boss, we'll all support you. Then, can the boss open the store in the afternoon? A customer took the opportunity to test it out. I can't do it in the afternoon. I'll check the game time. If there is a game in the morning, the store may be closed on the day of the game, Gubai replied while checking the official website. Customer. Like being struck by lightning. I'm making you talkative. What kind of food competition are you talking about? The original intention is to increase the enthusiasm of the boss and open more stores to gain popularity. Now, the time to open a store is less than before, and once the boss emerges in the competition, you will know the owner of this small store. Aren't there more people, and more people robbing them of food? Thinking of this, customers can't wait to go back in time and take pictures of themselves who just mentioned the food competition. Now I just pray that the game time will not be arranged in the morning, and the boss's farm will be built soon. I really want to taste how delicious these fairy delicacies will be in reality and how they will feel in the stomach. Wonderful. After sending the customers away and putting on the sign that the store was closed, Gubai took out the extra meal he made for Mumu, and then headed into the official website to read about the food competition. Indeed, as the customer said, the first place in the food competition will be rewarded with 300,000 stars, and the second and third place will also be rewarded with 200,000 and 100,000 stars respectively. That is to say, as long as he can get the top 3, he will be rewarded with star coins, which is definitely good news for him. There are no restrictions on the participants of the food competition. It is divided into audition and official competition. Only 100 participants will be reserved for the official competition. In the previous game mode, 20 players were eliminated in the first and second games. After that, 10 players were eliminated in each game. When there were only 20 contestants left, 2 players were eliminated in each game until the championship was finally decided. The second and third runner-up, if it goes well to the end, will take 3 months in total. That is to say, even if he wins the top 3, he will not be able to earn the bonus until 3 months later, and it will be too late to buy seeds for planting. Forget it, still make more money and buy some seeds before the game is over. Gubai filled out his personal information on the official website as required, then submitted the registration form, and went to the food building 3 days later for the audition. Chapter 18 Audition 1. 3 days later, Gubai logged into the second world early in the morning, and it was rare that he didn't go to his shop to open fire at the first time, because today was the day he went to the food building to participate in the audition. The food building is not far from the food street. Gubai did not choose to teleport, but walked over step by step like shopping, and took a good look around. The audition started at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it was only 9:30 when Gubai arrived, but there were already many people under the food building, more than he expected. It seems that the Interstellar people are really crazy about food, but they don't know how well these people cook. Although he learned from the memory of the original owner and the Star Network that the food culture in this world is very broken, he is not someone who has not been inherited, but most of the inheritance is in the hands of the big family. I'm so nervous. I didn't participate in the audition last year. I don't know if I can pass the audition this year, a contestant said nervously to a friend beside him. Relax, you have learned a lot this year, and you will definitely pass the audition, the friend comforted. Someone next to him heard the words and couldn't help but scoff. If you can pass the audition with a simple study, wouldn't everyone be a chef? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Guide of How to Be an Interstellar Tycoon. Author, Yaoi. Chapter 16. Do you put the tomatoes or the eggs first when you stir-fry eggs with tomatoes? I suddenly forgot that I put a few grams of salt in scrambled eggs. I read it before I came tomorrow morning. I'm so nervous, God of cooking, bless me to pass the audition. Most of the people at the scene were very nervous. They were talking, or comforting each other with their friends, or immersed in their own world. Of course, there were also people who were very confident and calm, who seemed to stand out among the crowd. Group. Gubai found a corner to stay, while waiting for the gourmet building to start the audition, while listening to the thoughts of the people next to him. After signing up, he found out the process of the food competition in previous years and read it carefully. He knew that the audition was divided into 3 competitions. The first was a written test, the second was to identify ingredients, and the third was to make a dish that you are good at, and those who pass the 3 games can continue to participate in the competition. Although there are no specific topics for the competition in previous years, there are still a lot of related discussions on Star Online, and Gubai has also gotten some information. He felt that it would be no problem to pass the audition. At 10 o'clock, several staff members walked out of the food building and brought all the contestants into the examination room. From the outside, the food building is not big, but when I walked in, I found that there was a Gankon inside. It was indeed a virtual world. Gubai sighed silently as he walked. This is the examination room. Please choose your own location. Please keep quiet throughout the whole process. Those who make noise will immediately be disqualified from the competition. The staff explained the rules of the examination room expressionlessly. Gubai casually found the nearest place and stood over, waiting for the written test paper to be issued, but after waiting for a minute, he found that the staff had not done anything else since the test room record was read out, and the other players around were also low. He shook his head, as if he was doing a question. Gubai. He looked down at the smooth platform, and then looked around at the other players who were writing, and was very speechless. Contestant No. 048, please don't look around, give a warning, and then violate the order of the test room and leave the test room immediately, the invigilator said with a blank expression. Gubai no longer turned his head and stared intently at the platform in front of him, only to realize that this is the interstellar space, not their Earth era, and the examiner does not need to issue test papers for the exam. He searched for the memory of the original owner, and clicked on the slightly raised place in the upper right corner of the platform. The originally smooth platform flashed a white light, and a test question appeared on it. Alas, until this moment, Gubai really felt that he was like a country bumpkin who entered the city. Facing high technology, he couldn't do anything. At this moment, 10 minutes have passed since the beginning of the exam. Gubai put away his thoughts and read the questions carefully. He must not be beaten in the first audition. Chapter 19 Audition 2. Question 1, what does pepper taste like? A. Salty, B. Spicy, C. Bitter, D. Sweet. Gubai. Question 2, which of the following is a carrot? A, B, C, D. Each put a picture of the ingredients. Gubai. Question 3. From the very beginning, Gubai answered the questions very seriously, and gradually the expression on his face became less and less, his eyes were a little dull, and finally he was answering the questions completely instinctively. That's it? That's it? On these topics. All elementary school students know what these questions are. It turned out to be the first test question of the food competition audition. Sure enough, the food culture gap in the interstellar era is really serious. Although Gubai started answering the questions 10 minutes later than the other contestants, he was the first to answer the questions, and these questions were not difficult for him at all, including the bonus questions at the end. The first match lasted for an hour. When Gubai came out, there were still 10 minutes left. He sat on the rest bench outside the exam room and did not leave, because there were still 2 exams to be conducted. Hello, my name is Fang Weichuan, you are Bai Xiaobai, the owner of Blue Star Food Store, right? A handsome boy sitting next to him suddenly spoke up. Gubai looked subconsciously, do you know me? I've eaten boiled pork slices in your store, and it's super delicious. Fang Weichuan looked very intoxicated, as if he was reminiscing the deliciousness of boiled pork slices, and his eyes glowed with fiery light. Thank you. Gubaiman was a little embarrassed when he saw the enthusiastic diners. You are really amazing. Whether it's boiled pork slices, braised pork or sweet and sour rib, all of them are delicious. I go to buy them every day, but unfortunately the quantity is too small, so I can't get much of it. You have it offline. Is it a physical store? Where is it? It's just not enough to eat here. I really want to taste these dishes in real life, they must be more delicious. Fang Weichuan pulled Gubai and said excitedly. He likes food very much, he likes to cook, and he likes to eat even more. For this reason, he has opened a special restaurant, hired famous chefs, and occasionally cooks by himself. When he went to the Blue Star Gourmet restaurant, he was boiled in water. The domineering aroma of the meat slices attracted him. When he tasted it for the first time, he was shocked. If it wasn't for the chef who opened the shop, he really wanted to dig people into his own gourmet restaurant, so that he could eat like this every day. Delicious stuff too. But now it's not bad. He also runs to the Blue Star Gourmet restaurant every day, which makes his own staff wonder if the owner of the restaurant actually opened it. The Guide of How to Be an Interstellar Tycoon. Author, Yaoi. Chapter 17. Offline is not open yet, Gubai said truthfully, and he had a good impression of the enthusiastic young man in front of him. The 10 years of experience in the last days made him not easily trust people, and he also had the vision to see people. The young man in front of him had clear eyes, and his attitude was enthusiastic and unpretentious, which gave him a good feeling. Then you must tell me, I want to be the first to join in, Fang Weixuan said familiarly. Okay, Gubai nodded with a smile. The person in front of him should also be the contestant this time. The contestants who can roll out ahead of time are basically confident in themselves, and he has a good impression of people who are good at cooking. Xiao Bai, with your ability, it is absolutely no problem to pass the audition. Maybe you can get the first place. I have never eaten boiled pork slices so delicious since I was a child. Xiao Bai is better than his chef. It's much more delicious. Gubai, I believe you can also pass the audition. Let's do our best. You take the first place, I'll take the second place. Go ahead. Fang Weixuan was a little excited. Hee, this is really the biggest joke I've heard this year. Chapter 20 Audition 3. Hee, this is really the biggest joke I've heard this year. A voice full of sarcasm and ridicule came from the side, and Gubai realized that the first test was over. He glanced at the person who made the sound, and found that it was the person who just laughed at other players outside the building. Such people who habitually mock others are not worthy of his attention. Even Fang Weixuan didn't pay attention to that person, so he pretended he didn't hear it, dragged Gubai and continued, let's go and see the results. It came out so soon. Gubai was a little surprised. It's only less than a minute before the end of the exam, right? Sure enough, he's an ignorant bastard, and I don't know which remote planet he came from. It's a shame seeing that Gubai and Fang Weixuan were ignoring him. The man was immediately angry and sneered again. Gubai's expression sank, and the aura of the apocalypse radiated out, and the surrounding temperature plummeted, making people couldn't help but close their clothes. The person who taunted was also taken aback by Gubai's appearance, and instinctively took a step back, but he seemed to feel that it was too embarrassing to do this in front of so many people, so he took a step forward to meet Gubai, stiff and stiff. He opened his mouth and said, "What? Did you poke at your sore spot? You go home and take medicine when you are sick. What kind of superiority do you show here? Everyone is from the Huaxia Empire, and they are all equal. What's the matter? You are special or not? You are so special. I don't think there is room for you on the ground. Come on, just go to the universe." Fang Weixuan frowned, very unwilling. What the fuss, those who are promoted are preparing for the second assessment, and those who have not been promoted will leave the food building now. The staff heard the movement and came over. Gubai glanced at the man coldly, and dragged Fang Weixuan to see the results of the first game. There is a huge screen on the first floor of the food building, where all the lists and results that have advanced to the second audition are posted. Some are happy and some are worried. "Xiao Bai, I got promoted, what's your number?" Fang Weixuan asked Gubai after finding his test number. 048, Gubai replied. He just saw his test number at a glance, not because he has good eyes, but really. Wow! 100%, Xiao Bai, you actually got a perfect score. You know that the second world has held so many food competitions, and there has never been a single perfect score. Fang Weixuan's admiration for Gubai was like a surging river. It's almost overflowing. Gubai was a little embarrassed. After all, in a sense, he was cheating. Let's go to the second test room. Fang Weixuan took Gu Bai upstairs. The second place for the audition was in the ingredients room on the 10th floor. Although many contestants were screened out in the first test, there were still a lot of people left. The organizer divided a total of 10 test rooms to conduct at the same time. Gu Bai and Fang Weixuan were assigned to the same exam room, which made Fang Weixuan's smile even brighter, and it was very conspicuous among the nervous and expressionless contestants around. His attitude attracted a lot of glares from the players, but unfortunately Fang Weixuan was too nervous and didn't notice it at all. The second audition for the audition will begin soon. This assessment is very simple. Each of you will have 20 kinds of ingredients in front of you. When I read which ingredients, you will choose the corresponding ones and put them in the test points. A total of 10 questions. If you answer more than 8 questions correctly, you will pass the test. The examiner read. Chapter 21 successfully selected for the food contest. Gu Bai lowered his head and looked at the ingredients in front of him. The ingredients like potatoes and cabbage that are commonly used in Interstellar are not included here, which means that the difficulty of this assessment is higher than that of the first one, and the surrounding has been faintly heard. The whining and whining of the contestants. However, this did not make it difficult for him who came from China. The first one, lettuce. The examiner read in a calm voice, not giving everyone much time to choose, almost every 10 seconds. In just 2 minutes, the second assessment was over, and the result of the promotion was given on the spot. Fortunately, I took a trip to the Plantation Research Institute before the competition. 2 of the ingredients tested today are ingredients that the Research Institute has recently researched and planted. Many people must have been stuck by these 2. Fang Weixuan said a little. Said happily. The Guide of How to Be an Interstellar Tycoon. Author, Yaoi. Chapter 18. Even if you remove these 2, you can still advance, Gu Bai said with a smile. After all, both he and Fang Weixuan advanced with full marks. Fang Weixuan, that's right, he. You just said the Planting Research Institute. Is it a place to study new crops? Although Gu Bai had a certain understanding of the world through the original owner, many of them were still in a state of ignorance. Well, there are not many documents left in the ancient Earth period. The Empire spent a lot of manpower, material resources, and time to study these crops and ingredients. Although the success rate is not high, there are still several new ingredients that appear every year, Fang Weixuan responded. Gu Bai really loves food. Even in the end times when resources are scarce, he has never given up. He is even more proud of his awakening of wood-type abilities, so that he can get closer to plants than other abilities. The third test was on the 15th floor. At this time, there were only more than 200 contestants left. It was still divided into 10 test rooms, each with about 20 people. The assessment of this competition is to ask the contestants to cook a dish that they are good at, and then select the best top 100 from various aspects such as side dishes, cooking techniques, and the color and aroma of the finished product, and officially participate in the food competition. What Gu Bai did this time was stir-fried mutton, which was not complicated, but it was no problem to pass the audition. Sure enough, in the end, both Gu Bai and Fang Weixuan were officially selected for the food competition. First of all, congratulations on your successful entry into the official competition of the food competition. In this competition, we will adopt a live broadcast method. Yes, I will briefly explain the next itinerary and the game mode. Live broadcast. The contestants were shocked when they heard the words, and after the shock, they were more joyful. Live broadcast means that there will be viewers watching. It means that if you do well, you may attract a lot of fans. After the game, whether they open a store or continue to be an anchor, they will have a fan base. For them, Bailey, and no harm. Yes, in order to increase the level of publicity for food, this competition will be broadcast live. If the effect is good, there may be a live broadcast in the later stage. At that time, We can open a trial section for you on the internet. If there are audiences try it, you will all get a certain amount of income. This is your extra income, the organizer continued. Chapter 22. Mumu is an NPC. They are now in the second world. Any food made with ingredients from the second world can only be tasted by one person. After all, the ingredients in the second world are cheap. Countless people have tasted that it is too easy to make money. In this way, people who can cook will avoid using this way to make money and make money. But if it is food made from ingredients in the real world, then you can open a trial section on the Star Network, and a piece of food can be tasted by countless people. Of course, the cost of the trial is very low, and you can eat it for 3 to 10 stars, but if there are too many people to try it, the income will be high. At first, Gubai chose to open a shop online. First, the cost was low, and secondly, there was a store opening fund reward. For him, who had no money in his pocket, it was the only choice. Moreover, the prices of ingredients in the second world were also relatively low. Can afford it? But if he earns enough money, he will definitely choose the second one, cooking in reality, and opening it to try it online. After all, such a dish can handle a lot of people and save a lot of energy. Of course, these are all things to talk about later. Now the most important thing is to buy the seeds quickly. All the land on the farm has been plowed. As a result, there are no seeds to plant, and it is really expensive to put them there. After the audition for the food competition was over, there was a week between the first official competition. Gubai used this week to rush to make money, and finally bought seeds suitable for planting an acre of land. After careful selection, Gubai chose several different crops. He was not sure whether the planting climate here and the growth law of seeds were the same as those in the Earth period, so if you choose a few more, you will have more possibilities. It's really poor. After the early days of the end of the world, I've never been so poor. Gubai lamented his current life as he sowed seeds into the soil. He doesn't have the money to hire a sowing robot anymore, so he can only plant a little bit by himself. Fortunately, there is only 1 mu of land, so it's not difficult. While sowing the seeds, Gubai quietly poured a few abilities into the seeds to increase the viability of the seeds. That is to say, his current ability has been reduced to the first level. If it is still at the 10th level, let alone just improve the viability of the seeds, even if the seeds germinate in an instant, there is no problem. I really miss the old days when abilities were used casually. Little young master, hurry up and take a break, just let Grandpa Gu do this. Butler Gu looked at Gubai, who was busy and sweating, and felt very distressed. He hurriedly pulled him over to sit down and served a cup. Water, I wish I could feed him directly to drink it. Grandpa Gu is fine, just a little bit, not tired. Gubai took the water glass, raised his head and drank it, his heart also warmed. It's really been a long time since I was cared and cared for like this. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Guide of How to Be an Interstellar Tycoon. Author, Yaoi. Chapter 19. The seeds can be sown in the ground like this? I think those big families in Central Star have to breed first, and then carefully wait for germination in the conservatory, and often water the nutrient solution, otherwise they will not be able to grow anything. Even the crops that are planted are all shriveled. Grandpa Gu looked at the land in front of him, very melancholy. He doesn't care that these seeds can't be planted and it costs money, but seeing the young master so excited, if it doesn't germinate by then, the young master will be so sad. That's enough, it should be able to germinate in 3 days or 5, Gubai said with a smile. Although his power level is not high, the vitality of the seeds watered by the power is comparable to those watered with nutrient solution. Too much. Gubai has a very good reputation in the Blue Star Gourmet restaurant in the second world. All customers who have come here will tell their relatives and friends and bring them over with them, and then these relatives and friends will tell their friends, word of mouth, even if customers can't come to eat every day. After all, wallets are not allowed, but Gubai's food is still in short supply every day. Only Mumu showed up at the Blue Star Gourmet restaurant on time every day, and would not leave until Gubai was offline. He had never been absent. In the face of such loyal customers, Gubai receives money every day, very happy. Mumu, I'm going to participate in the first game of the food competition tomorrow. The store is closed. I'll prepare you tomorrow's meals later, so don't come to the store, Gubai said to Mumu. After getting along for this period of time, he also had a certain understanding of the man in front of him who did not remember his name, but was taciturn. Although Mumu doesn't like to talk, he is hot on the outside and hot on the inside. When someone comes to trouble him, he will stand up to protect him. It feels good to have such a person by his side in this world. I just don't know why this person can't go offline. Can his body in reality bear it? Or, he's actually just an NPC in this world? I can't blame Gubai for thinking this way. After all, in the holographic online game novels, besides players, there are also NPCs with high intelligence. Although the second world is not an online game, it is also a virtual world. It looks more like a newborn NPC. The more he thought about it, the more Gubai felt that Mumu might be an NPC, or perhaps an NPC who was not born under the expectations of the brain. If that's the case, isn't he cultivating Mumu now? So is he like a father-like existence to Mumu? Gubai secretly snickered in his heart. Where are you competing? Mumu rarely asked. Food Mansion. What, do you want to watch my game? Gubai replied with a smile. Mumu nodded, yeah. The smile on Gubai's face grew even bigger. I'm afraid it won't work, I haven't heard of a live audience, but... After a pause, he continued, you can watch the live broadcast of our game. Live broadcast? Mumu looked at Gubai with obvious doubts in his eyes. I'll teach you, Gubai called out a blank panel. He actually didn't know how to watch the live broadcast. After all, he was also a half-hearted person who appeared halfway through. In this way, it seems that the situation is quite similar to Mumu's, and he doesn't belong to this world. I remember that the function of watching the live broadcast seems to be here, you can look for it. Gubai barked on the control panel for a while, and leaned back slightly so that Mumu could see his control panel. The air suddenly became quiet, and the sound of breathing and breathing was clearly audible. Only then did Gubai realize that he was very close to Mumu, so close that he could hear the sound of breathing and breathing, and felt the heat from his body. At this moment, Mumu replied, well, I found it. A low, hoarse magnetic voice, like an arrow, swept across Gubaxin Lake, causing a ripple. It's good to find it, it's getting late, I'll go offline and have a rest, and I have to participate in the competition tomorrow, Gubai hurriedly said, and hurriedly got off the assembly line. The thumping heart, which is beating faster, seems to be still clearly felt until it returns to reality. Gubai's brows were slightly wrinkled, and he was a little puzzled. If Mumu's appearance was that kind of shockingly handsome, it would make sense for him to be throbbing. Unstoppable. But the reality is that although Mumu is a handsome guy, he is not so handsome that people and gods are angry. He has always been superficial in appearance, so his reaction should not be so big. It must be that the mother's fetus has been soloed for too long, and the apocalypse has been isolated from people for too long. People who are suddenly close to a person will have such a strange reaction, and it will take a long time to get used to it. Don't think about it anymore, hurry up and go to bed, Gubai silently hinted to himself in his heart. At the same time, Mumu in the second world was also teleported out of the gourmet shop after the owner went offline. He stood motionless at the door of the shop, just like a statue, only those dark eyes showed sharp, people dare not look at it. But his heart was far less calm than his surface. June Morin reached out and rubbed the stinging Sunday. He sorted out his memory a little bit about the experience of the past few days, and his eyes were full of surprise. Since he was on the brink of collapse because of his spiritual power, and was sent to the second world, his memory has been up and down, and he often wakes up once every 10 days and a half. The Guide of How to Be an Interstellar Tycoon. Author, Yaoi Yahoo. Chapter 20. But every time I woke up and reviewed my previous memories, I was basically either in a hotel, or in a place where no one was there, and I rarely had contact with people. This time, sorting out his memory, he found that he had been with a person since half a month ago, and he would come to the store on time every day to check in for dinner, and would not leave until the other person was offline. Whether he is awake or has no memory, he usually doesn't like to be in contact with others, but he didn't expect that Yaoi would feel no rejection at all, even after eating the food he made. And no longer accept what other people do. And even if he was awake before, the headache still accompanied him, and it never stopped. This time when he woke up, the symptoms of the headache seemed to have eased a little. Although it was very weak, he still felt the difference with his great spiritual power. In the second world, the headache has weakened, which means that his spiritual power has improved. In reality, Fang Rushan has found a way to prevent his spiritual power from collapsing. Or because I have been eating Yaoi's meals for the past 2 weeks. In fact, he prefers the latter. It didn't take him a day or two to walk with his spiritual power. Every time he woke up, he felt the same. Only this time there was a change, and only this time he came into contact with new people and things. Lord Grimm recalled carefully, the first time he ate something at the Blue Star Gourmet restaurant, the headache that had been bothering him really eased a little bit, so he would come here subconsciously after that. But whether it is because of the food cooked by Yaoi still needs to be verified. If it finally proves that his idea is correct, then, it is really good news for the Empire. P.S. Little cuties, you can vote for Zhizzy. If you like this article and support this article, remember to vote for Zhizzy. If you don't have Zhizzy, please collect and vote for recommendation. Thank you for your support. 3. Chapter 23 No 048. The place where the food competition was officially recorded is still in the food building, but this time the venue is larger and more formal than the previous audition, and it is no problem to accommodate 100 contestants at the same time. Gubai went to the second world early in the morning. Because he didn't know the content of the game, he couldn't prepare in advance, but he still had confidence in himself. Xiaobai seeing Gubai, Fang Weixuan immediately ran over with a smile, dragged him and chatted chatteringly, until the competition began, and he was still unfinished. Xiaobai, if you make new dishes later, will you go to the gourmet restaurant later? Fang Weixuan asked. For the past 2 days, he still went to the Blue Star Gourmet restaurant every day, but not every time he was lucky enough to grab something to eat. When he couldn't eat it, when he saw others eating it, he would be really greedy. Moreover, every time Yaoi cooks a new dish, it is very delicious and attractive, which makes him have endless aftertastes. Yaoi is simply a treasure. Yes, Gubai replied with a smile, obviously fully understanding the nature of the other party's foodie. Fang Weixuan, that's great, I can't wait to end the game so I can eat something delicious. All 100 players have arrived, the test numbers are rearranged, and after this time, this number will follow them until the last match. The number Gubai drew this time was the same as in the audition, it was number 048, and Fang Weixuan was number 066. 66, Liuliu Dashun, ha ha ha, I'm really lucky. Fang Weixuan proudly showed Gubai his number. All contestants please stand in their respective positions, and the live broadcast will start immediately. The organizers specially found a host for this competition, and he is also a well-known host in the entertainment industry. Everything is ready and the live broadcast starts. Many players are nervously watching around, wanting to see where the live broadcast is, but because they are in the second world, the live broadcast is directly hidden. This is probably to avoid showing the players. There will be pressure. Welcome to the audience to watch the food competition. As we all know, people take food as their heaven, and food is a long-standing culture of our Chinese empire. Unfortunately, during the migration process, there were cultural gaps. In order to encourage the masses to actively participate in the revival of food culture. During the event, we hereby hold this food competition. The host said his opening remarks to the audience behind the live broadcast. Then, the first game of the food competition has officially started. The theme of our first game is Chunde. There are ingredients provided by the organizer in the basket in front of everyone, and everyone needs to use these ingredients as the main ingredients for cooking, and it is not necessary to use all of them. But no other ingredients can be used. The time is 1 hour, and the timer starts. When the host's words fell, the players present began to quickly choose the ingredients they needed. In order to ensure fairness, the organizer prepares the same type and quantity of ingredients for each contestant, and the ingredients prepared for this game are very sufficient. It is probably the first time that the full live broadcast mode has been opened. A game can be held smoothly and has something to watch. Gubai first checked all the ingredients prepared by the organizer. There were meat and vegetables, even the staple food, and the seasonings were relatively comprehensive. The dishes he wanted to make were already formed in his mind. Ask for branches. P.S. How to get olive branch.